Good morning, and welcome back to my YouTube channel of sermons for those who are marginalized by the church. Today, I want to talk about one of my all-time favorite subjects, the divine feminine, that is, the feminine nature of God, which, for the record, is not just like some mere side conversation for the radical feminists. Reclaiming the feminine in God is an essential and non-negotiable component in healing the deep patriarchal wounds that have damaged all of us, both men and women. This week, I reposted a video on Facebook that was created by the United Methodist in North Carolina. And they had asked male pastors to read actual comments that were said to female pastors. Now, part of the power of the video, to me, is watching the men react to the comments. On the one hand, their appall is appropriate, but on the other hand, their surprise is telling. Even men who value women still do not know or understand the experience of women, namely the experience of oppression, degradation, and blatant dismissal that comes with being a religious woman. If you haven't seen the video, I recommend watching it. Well, part of what I did when I reposted it was I asked women what they were hearing in addition to the comments in the video. And I want to read to you just a small sampling of what they said. Where is the male chaplain? Does your husband know you are here? You're the pastor? What kind of kiddie church is it? Women are weak. Women are power hungry. Women are too emotional to be leaders. Women can't be pastors. You're a pastor? Well, at least you're not in prison or on drugs. God likes it when men step up. What would a man think if he walked in a church and on top of all the things women are doing, a woman is also preaching? How is he supposed to feel? If you were my youth pastor, I would have gone to church a lot more. If I were 40 years younger, didn't you bring a sweater? It's inappropriate for us to see your shoulders. Your jewelry is distracting. If I want preaching, I'll get it from a man. The comments on my post went on and on and on. And this is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of what women encounter on a daily basis. And so much of the harassment, belittlement, and objectification of women stems from bad theology. It's crucial that we recognize this. Some of us are so used to hearing God referred to as He that we think nothing of it. We use exclusively masculine pronouns to talk about or to pray to God ourselves. We may even bristle if someone uses she to talk about God. That is how ingrained the patriarchal suppression of women is. But even in the Christian and Jewish scriptures, traditions that have plenty of patriarchal baggage, even there, feminine imagery for God shows up again and again. But too often we have been conditioned not to see it. Right from the beginning. In Genesis, the Bible states that God created humankind in God's image, male and female. God created them. Both women and men reflect the divine image. When we forget or ignore that reality, bad things happen. Theologian Mary Daly has said, if God is male, then male is God. Patriarchy wounds all of us, both by giving men an exclusive kind of authority that is bound to poison them, and by giving women an inferiority that is bound to cripple, limit, and wound them. That is why I love the lectionary passage for today from Proverbs chapter 8. Frequently in the book of Proverbs, wisdom is personified as a woman. She is known as Sophia, And in Scripture, she is spoken of with godlike qualities. In Proverbs chapter 8, she is present at the very beginning of creation, participating with the divine in bringing all things into existence. Listen to these words about her in Proverbs chapter 8. Quote, "Counsel and sound judgment are mine. I have insight, I have power. By me kings reign and rulers issue decrees that are just. By me princes govern and nobles, all who rule the earth." End quote. She, a woman, is behind all earthly power that is just. Quote, "Listen to my instruction and be wise. Do not disregard it. Blessed are those who listen to me, for those who find me find life." End quote. Those who find her, woman wisdom, find life. Now let's put those quotes side by side with some of the prior quotes, okay? Women can't be pastors. Women are weak. I have insight. I have power. If I want preaching, I'll get it from a man. Listen to my instructions and be wise. Do not disregard it. Verse 36 actually puts it even stronger. "Those who fail to find me harm themselves, and those who hate me love death." I think about all the times I have heard that women should be silent in the church. All the times my wisdom and the wisdom of women I know have been dismissed. I think of all the women who have been accused of being dishonest, heathen, unorthodox, or false teachers. And then I read Proverbs 8, 6 through 11. "Listen, for I have trustworthy things to say. I open my lips to speak what is right. My mouth speaks what is true. All the words of my mouth are just. None of them is crooked or perverse. To the discerning, all of them are right. They are upright to those who have found knowledge. Choose my instructions instead of silver, knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is more precious than rubies, and nothing you can desire can compare with her." With her. In the Bible, wisdom is feminine. In the spiritual journey, God must be reclaimed as comprehensive of all the genders, male, female, and everything between. Otherwise, there is damage to the soul, and damage to the soul always manifests itself by hurting other people. Bad theology harms people. It hurts you, and it hurts the way we interact with one another. Reclaiming the feminine nature of God and rejecting an exclusively male God is a necessity if we ever want to live in a world that is free of sexism and the daily normalized assault on women and girls. In my favorite book, The Dance of the Dissident Daughter by Sue Monk Kidd, she writes this, quote, "Disconnected from my feminine soul, I had also unknowingly forfeited my power to name sacred reality. I had simply accepted what men had named. Neither had I noticed that when women give this power away, it is rarely used to liberate and restore value to women. More often, it is used to shore up and enhance the privileged position of men." It's truth. I want to read to you more from her book. I sort of want to read you the whole thing, but I'll just read you a snippet. She says, "Early on, a girl starts to soak up the idea that she is less than boys. Not long ago, my friend Betty told me about the day she and her husband were walking beside the rapids and came upon a young family. Betty watched as the father took the boy, who looked about 4 years old, down to the water's edge so he could dip his hands in the surging water and feel the spray on his face. The boy's sister, slightly older, begged her mother to take her to the edge too. 'No,' the mother told her, 'it's too dangerous there.' A small incident, but when multiplied 100, 1,000 times in a little girl's life, she learns that she's not as capable as a boy of handling life on the edge. She learns to hang back. At church, girls fare no better. A young girl learns Bible stories in which vital women are generally absent in the background or devoid of power. She also experiences herself missing from pronouns in scripture, hymns, and prayers. And most of all, as long as God himself is exclusively male, she will experience the otherness, the lessness of herself. All the pious talk in the world about females being equal to males will fail to compute in the deeper places inside of her. Maybe this is familiar for some of you. If she sees few women in places of real power, hears few female voices of strength, and witnesses little female creativity, then despite what is said about women's equality, she experiences women and herself as absent and silent. The feminine wound is created as we internalize all these experiences, the voices we hear at church, school, home, work, and within the culture at large, suggesting in ways both bold and subtle that women and feminine experience are less than. If you receive often enough the message that women are inferior and secondary, you will soon believe that you are inferior and secondary. As a matter of fact, many experts tell us that all women in our society arrive at adulthood with significant feelings of inadequacy. Here are the words I want you to hear today, especially if you identify as a woman or as a marginalized person in some way. Counsel and sound judgment are yours. You have insight. You have power. Listen to your own instruction and be wise. Do not disregard it. Blessed are those who listen to their inner wisdom, for those who find her, find life. You can trust her. I trust her, and I trust her in you. You are wise. You are so wise. Love, liberation, and empowerment for all. Love you. Amen.